Hello everyone. In a previous video, we understood different composite types and its important and how we deal with the huge amount of data with the composite data types and all. Now, in today's video, we are going to start with the most important concept and that is nothing but the collections. Okay. So now in ASP.NET, there are different types of collections. Okay, like non-generic collections will available is available before .NET 2.0, and then after that in .NET 2.0 they introduced the generic collections, and then multi-threaded environment. There are the concurrent collections, then immutable collections. Now, how to manipulate the collections, how to iterate through the data, what are the different things are available to update, filter, sort, and aggregate the data in a collection. So for that, there is a one concept called as a LINQ in language integrated query. Okay, and some specialized collections. So these things we are going to cover in a today's video. It might be a little bit longer. This video will be because we have to cover all the aspects of a collections. And again, collections is not a kind of a concept which will be summarized in a 30 minutes. So I'll try to summarize it and short it in 30 minutes, but maybe it get extended. So let's start what exactly the collection is and what are the different facilities it provides to you. So in ASP.NET, collections are data structures used to store, manage groups of related objects. They provide powerful functionality for working with a set of data. So basically, we saw different data structures, we saw different kind of data types. Okay, collections is nothing but a kind of a implementation of those data structures in a ASP.NET technology. So they deal with the data, they deal with how to organize, what will be the different data structure it should implement, what exactly the different operations will be performed on the set of data, like or adding insertion, deletion, like kind of a thing, sorting, searching. So they provide their built-in methods, built-in functions to manipulate the data. And these are the all classes included in a collection framework. So collections are nothing but a core part of a .NET framework because this is the only thing through which we are dealing with the data. And obviously, we all know that in every product, data is a basic and core concepts. So the functionality which deals with these uh, data is nothing but obviously it will be the core thing. Now there are different types of collections available. Different type of collections are available in a, we can say it in a .NET before 2.0. There is a non-generic collection. So it is available in a system.collections namespace. And before 2.0, it get introduced. And these collections are widely used, but they are now mostly replaced by the generic collections because we wanted data type specific values and due to their lack of type safety. So non-generic collections allow you to insert um, different types of data. Like you can insert data in an array list because we are not mentioning the type, which type of array list it is. So we can insert integer, we can insert string, we can insert whatever objects. Okay, so it is available in a non-generic collection. But then we want that the collection should be specific types. Okay, so if I am creating array list, then I should insert it in a only employee object or only string objects. So there is a generic collection and get introduced in a 2.0, and they are type safe and more efficient than non-generic collection because they eliminates the need of boxing and unboxing, casting and all these things. Okay, so because it says, if you observe one thing, the collections are data structures which stores and manage groups of related objects. Okay, so related objects, it means we trying to maintain all related type of a data. So in a non-generic collection, we have to typecast and all these things we have to do. But that's why there is an introduction of generic collections, and it is a type safe collection which reduces this type casting and all. So they belongs to the system dot collections dot generic namespace. Now, concurrent collections for multi-threaded application, ASP.NET provides the thread set collections in the system and which is available in a collections.concurrent namespace and which ensures the safe access by multiple threads. So for the thread safety, we can use this concurrent collections. Now, mutable collections. Now, obviously, immutable collections. Immutable word itself says that it should not change. It should be constant. So, immutable collections are available in a collections.immutable namespace, and these are the collections which cannot be modified after created. So, they are useful when you need trade safety without overhead of locking and all concurrent. If you don't want to use the concurrent correction and the value will be same, it should not be, it will not get changed. Then in that case, you can use this immutable collections. Now, link queue and collections. Obviously, link queue is a kind of a concept which perform the queries and transformations of collections, and you can use LinQ to perform the task like filtering, sorting, aggregation of the data in a collection, and etc. etc. So this is a very good facility provided by ASP.NET. We can say this is the one of the plus point of ASP.NET. Next is specialized collections. ASP.NET also provides the specialized collections, which is available in a specialized collections.specialized namespace, and specific users such as a name value collection, string collection. So collection which is made up of key and value pair with both the keys and values should be string. Okay, and often used for storing uh, from data or query string parameters. Now, string collection, a collection that holds the list of strings. So these kinds of a specific collections are available. Now, in a collection, ASP.NET plays a fundamental role in handling groups of data. And the choice of a collection depends on a specific use case, whether you need the type safety, then where you don't need the type safety, then you can go ahead with the non-generic collection. Where you the type safety is a core or basic requirement you have, then you can go ahead with the generic collections. Thread safety, concurrent correction, then immutability, immutable collections, like this. So understanding these collections allows you to efficiently work with the data and improves your application performance and write clean and maintainable code. So let's go ahead and we will see each of the collection one by one. So common non-generic collection, let's go ahead with it. Array list, hash table. So array list is nothing but a dynamic array. It can store different types of data through the elements and treated it as an object. So we created one array list of type nothing. It's a non-generic collection. So there is no type safety. It means we can add the integer in a list, we can add the string in a list and any type of object in this list and it get converted into the array list. Now hash table, the collection of key and value pair where key and value are both are objects and we are just iterating or we can consider it key as a lookup for the value. So hash table without any type and their key is 1, John, 2, Jane, like this. We can add it in a hash table. Now next one is a queue. First in, first out scenario. Whatever we learn in a data structure, queue data structure, it get implemented by this queue. And it's again inserting some values by using in queue. Next is a stack, push and pop, first last in, first out. Next is a sorted list. It's a by default sorted list. It's a kind of a list and it gets sorted by the means of a keys. Okay. So it gets sorted with the values of a keys. Now, what are the generic collections? Now we are introducing generic collection. It means there will be a type. So it list is again a dynamic array that can stores the elements of a specific type, which we have to mention in this triangular brackets. So list of type string and the name of the list is the names. Then we are adding the specific. If you're trying to add now an integer value in the list, now it will give you an exception. Next is a dictionary. It is a very important type of a collection which stores the key and value pair, where key is the unique and the lookup we are going to iterate, or we are lookup based on the key. So key will be unique and it get iterated through the dictionary will get iterated through the keys. Now hash set. Now it's a set. It means the property of a set is obviously no duplicates allowed and the value should be unique. So same thing here applied of type particular specific type. So here is a hash set, hash set of type integer, and the name is a number. We are inserting some values 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're trying to insert one more value with one more value as a 1 again, so it will again don't allow you. You should not allow the duplicate. Next, again, the generic implementation of a queue, stack, having the same methods, sorted list, same methods, and linked list. Now, when we say linked list in ASP.NET, as we discussed this thing in a linked list data structure also. So it's a doubly linked list available in ASP.NET. So where each element points to the next as well as to the previous. So it is useful for the insertion and deletion. So we already aware about these things. We saw the examples of linked list when we are learning with data structure linked list. Now concurrent collections. Now concurrent collections are nothing but a thread safe collections. Now we have a concurrent dictionary, we have a blocking collection, we have a concurrent queue and concurrent stack. So concurrent queue and concurrent stacks are nothing but a thread safe version of queue and stack. Dictionary, again, concurrent dictionary is nothing but a thread safe version of our dictionary. The thread safe dictionary that supports the parallel reads and writes. Now, what exactly the blocking collection? It provides the thread safe collection with the ability to block or wait for additions and removal. Okay, now it will block. Okay, it can block or wait for addition and removal. So, in a thread, how it maintains the thread safety by means of blocking or by means of waiting. So these are some concurrent collection. If you want the thread safety in your product development, then you can go ahead with these kinds of concurrent collections. Now, immutable list, immutable dictionary, immutable hash set. Now, the basic functionality of list, dictionary, and hash set is same. List, it should be list of a particular type. But once we created this particular list, you can't edit it, you can't change it. It will be the constant one, it will be the final one. Okay, you can't edit and manipulate the list. Okay, that is the immutable list. Again, same dictionary. It's a key and value pair. You can't modify it. Okay, dictionary that does not allow to change once created. So here we created one immutable dictionary of key type integer and value type string. And we are creating it, and at the same time we are adding it, adding the value to it. Now the set, immutable set, it's a kind of a unique list. Okay, no duplicates allowed, and it's of type integer in this example. And once you create this type of a set, you can't edit it. So these are the some immutable collections. Now, as we discussed before also, that link queue is really a basic and core important kind of a concept introduced by ASP.NET, and we will say that it is one of the it is one of the reason because of we are using ASP.NET. Okay, so it's a powerful query syntax in a .NET that allows the developer to store query collections in a declarative way. Okay. Now, example, you are iterating through the 1,000 line of data. Okay. From that 1,000 line of data, you want to perform some operations on a specific data. Okay. So for that, what you are doing, you normally use looping structures. Like there will be the for, there will be the for each, Okay, then you apply some conditions in it, then you perform some operations in it, right? So in this example, you can see here that this is the link queue structure. Okay, this is the link queue based code, and this is nothing but a normal code. Okay, now link queue also doing the same thing, and this normal code is also doing the same thing. Now, what are the differences? How it is beneficial to you, and what are the different? Currently, this there is one post which get populated. Okay, so based on a link you that one of the developer mentioning that their project manager doesn't allow them to use the link queue and all. So that YouTube video I given the link in a PPT. You can go ahead and check. And there are lots of things, deep dive with the Stephen Tob and all these things. All people, okay, they are very core people in a .NET team in a Microsoft. So you can go ahead and check them their videos, their suggestions, and how they implement and how they prefer to use the link queue and all in your code. So you can go ahead. The links are already mentioned. Let's start with this particular slide. So link queue, language integrated query, and which is a powerful querying syntax in ASP.NET that allows developers to query collections in a declarative way. Okay, similar to how you would query a database. Okay, so mostly if you are aware about the structured query language, okay, kind of a MySQL, we can go ahead. So normally what we do, if you want to fetch something, we use the select. If you want to do insert something, then we insert the query like this. Similarly, in the link you also, if you observe the code, we are just enumerable dot range 0 to 100. What we are doing, we are selecting what we are selecting, which is the multiple of 20. Okay, and where, what is the condition? If x is greater than 20, and what we need to do, we need to do the sum. To implement this particular code in a normal way, we need this much line of a code. So we have to declare the sum first, then we have to declare the selection, then we have to add the values to the selection which are multiple of 2. Then we are iterating that particular collection again because we want to find out the values which are greater than 20. If we find out the values greater than 20, then we are doing the sum of it. The same code implementation is happening here by means of a link queue, which is so simple. Again, it's using the, if you are real, you should know the lambda expression, you should know um uh, these concepts used in this particular query. If you once you are aware about these concepts, it will be really easy for you rather than doing this particular code. So it's like how you query the database. It's the same thing. Link provides a uniform way to work with the different types of data sources like collections, databases. Basically, you have a huge amount of data, and from that data, instead of iterating it or visiting that data again and again by using the 2 or 3 for loop, we can use this particular simple syntax of a link queue. So in a context of collections, link queue offers a rich set of methods that allows you to perform operations like filtering, sorting, grouping, transforming the data, which is link queue highly beneficial when working with the collections. Okay. What are the collections? Now you already aware about list, dictionaries, sets are there, arrays are there. So what are the basic advantage? Obviously readable code. The code is so simple to look, to read. Type safety, reduce the boilerplate code. This is the boilerplate code, extra thing. Okay, we declare the multiple elements get initialized, and obviously these things get happen. Now chainable syntax. Okay, it provides you chainable syntax. Okay, whatever the output of the previous query, that only that output will considered as an input for the further query. So for example, whatever the value gets selected over here, from that value we are finding out which are the greater than 20. Whatever the values are greater than 20, those value only applicable for the sum. So this is the chainable syntax which is available in a link queue collection. Now link queue query syntax versus method syntax. Now link queue supports 2 syntaxes for writing the queries. First one is the query syntax, second one is the method syntax. So mostly according to me, the query syntax is a little bit easy for me and I able to understand it, but it's the same thing. Okay. So from number in numbers, and you can go ahead where, because I prefer, I'm aware about the database related concepts. So these keywords are little bit uh, easy to remember for me. Next one is the query numbers dot where, like this. Okay, use the method calls with the lambda expressions, and it's a declarative syntax similar to the SQL. Now these are the two types of syntax the LINQ is using. Okay, query syntax, and then the second one is the method based. Let's go ahead. Just a minute. Now, common LINQ methods for collections. Now, what are the different methods provided by LINQ? So, you're saying, okay, LINQ is very useful, use it and all. But what are the different methods this provides to you to operate on a collections? First one is the filtering. Okay, by using the where you can filter. Okay, in a where you have to apply some condition, on which condition you have to filter the data. Okay, so that is the filtering. You can filter a collection using where, which allows you to select the elements that meet specific criteria. So criteria where you will mention the criteria in a where method. Okay, and again you can convert it into the list again. Okay, normal variable, and then projection, it means a selection. So you can use the select method to transform a project the data from the collection into the another. So as you can see here, we are using this select statement. Okay. So people dot select where people dot name. So from first here you can see that the people is the array list of type person. We have added two persons in it. Okay. But now what I want only the person names list. Okay. I don't want the whole person object. I just want the name. So what you will do? You will just iterate through the list, and then you will select that particular create the one more list to store the names. Then you can initialize fetch the names from that particular object, and then you are adding that name to the list of type string to store the name. These things you will do normally, right? So instead of that, what you can do, you just apply this select method over your array list or list, and you just apply the thing what you want to select. I want to select one object. Okay, and object should be of type string and made up of name. Okay, and convert that thing into the list. So we are creating the list of the names. Okay, so rather than creating or writing the line of code near about 5 to 6 lines, you can do it in a single line of by using the link code, which is really good. Now next one is the sorting. There is a method ordered by, okay, which um the object will be sorted on the basis of which criteria. Okay, ordered by the age. Next one is the group by. It is used to group the elements in a collection which is based on the key. Now there is a group by age. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are grouping the people whose age is same, okay, or in the that particular mentioned criteria. So this is the group by clause. Next one is aggregation functions are available, sum, count, average, minimum, maximum. So you can perform this aggregation functions. It's exactly same like you are doing in any kind of a structured query database, or you are firing the queries. Now next one is the set operation. LINQ support the set based operations like distinct, union, intersect, except. Okay, so I want some data where the employee except HR. Okay, so employee domain should not be. You can accept, you can use intersect, you can use union, all the employees, and whatever your criteria is. Okay, now distinct kind of uh, you can say names, or you can say uh, domain. You can go ahead. So consider you want to find out the domains of your companies. So you can go ahead with, okay, select the distinct domains from this and that. So you can go ahead with these operations. Now, quantifiers. So, methods like any, all, contains are used to check the conditions across the elements. So, there is the any even. So, numbers dot any, which modified by the even number is, or you can apply the condition here. Here, they are just finding out whether the numbers are modified by 2 or not. Then even numbers should be, all numbers are modified by the 2 or not. So these kind of a criteria. Next one is the first or default, single or default. So first returns the first elements that matches the conditions, or throws an exception if no conditions found. Okay. So consider you are applying some criteria and which is able to meet with the multiple objects, okay, which is matching with the multiple objects, but you want to fetch the first one. Now, first or default returns the elements or a default value if no elements is found. So what is happening in a first? It says that if no match found, then it's showing the exception not found. But here in a first or default, it says that it will either returns you the first element which matches the criteria, or it returns you the default value if no element or no match found. Similarly, last single and single or default. So same thing, link you or object, link you to object. So you can convert when the link you with in-memory collections such as list, array, or dictionary. It is referred to as link you to object. Link you to object allows you to query in-memory collections as if they were database. So it operating operations on in-memory collections, okay, like list, array, and dictionary. Now, deferred execution versus immediate execution. Deferred execution, link queries are not executed until you actually enumerate over the results. Okay. And methods like where, select, and ordered by use deferred executions. Now, immediate executions, queries that return the single value or perform aggregations. Okay, now what exactly the deferred executions and immediate executions? Link your queries are not executed until you enumerate. If you are not iterating through it, it will not get executed. Okay, so which is the example of deferred executions methods in a link queue, which are nothing but a where, select, and ordered by. We have to iterate and then it gets false. Now, immediate, it means there is no need of a iteration. There is no need of a kind of a visiting it again. It gives you the immediate output of the query. And those methods are nothing but a sum, count, post, and they execute immediately. It gives you the um, value of it. Now, one more thing I want to show you, just a minute. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, next one is a link you with a different collections. So link you work seamlessly with the list. Operations like filtering, sorting, transformations are efficient in the in-memory for the in-memory list. Now dictionaries, again, as we saw in a previous slide, it says the same thing. Okay. Dictionaries, query, link you can query the keys and values, but some operations like where return the enumerable key and value pair for you. Next one is the link can also provides query the arrays using the same syntax and the method as we are doing with the list. Now, LinkQ is kind of very powerful tool when working with the collections in ASP.NET. Okay, data manipulations task is little bit easier, more readable. It enables you to write the cleaner code for querying, filtering, and sorting, and transforming the data, whether working with the list, dictionaries, or arrays. By combining link with the collections, you can efficiently handle the complex data and operations with the minimal code, more readable code, in more understandable way. First, you have to understand the methods provided by the link, you how to use it, what will be the syntax. Then it will be really beneficial for you. Now, next is the specialized collections. So ASP.NET provides a specialized collections in a specialized namespace. So finally, what exactly the conclusion of collections in ASP.NET? So it plays really fundamental role in handling groups of data. The choice of the collections, which depends on the specific use case. Whether you need type safety, go for the generic collection, then concurrent collection, immutable collections, specified collections. And understanding these collections will allow you to efficiently work with the data, improve your application performance, write the clean and maintainable code. So depends on your requirements, you can select the particular collection and use it. Now, when to use which collection? Now we understood different data types. It get implemented by means of a collections in ASP.NET. But what are the different scenarios? We have to use collections in which scenarios? So choosing the right collections in ASP.NET or any kind of a technology really depends on the specific needs of your application, such as whether you need the fast lookups, fast insertion deletion order, or kind of a faster insertion or deletion. Do you want the type safety or not? Or do you want the immutability or not? Based on these requirements, we have to select the collections. Now, when you need a dynamically resizable array, we are talking about the list now. Okay, when you need to store the elements in a sequential order, where you need dynamically resizable array, when you frequently add and remove the elements at the end of the list. We are not talking about in between. We are talking about at the end of the list. Okay. And if you need the faster access, searching, fetching, okay, by index, that is O of one access time. So we obviously learn these things. So if these are your requirements, your insertion deletion are not sequence specific, okay, then you can go ahead with the list. Mostly in all of your products or a development code, I observe the uses of the list. Next is the avoid, when you need the fast insertion and deletion at the start and the middle of the collection. Because in an array or in a list, it's you have to insert the element at the specific location at the specific index. You have to move the elements forward and backward, which is again a time consuming. So if you want to insert or delete particular element at the particular specific location, then don't use the list. Okay. Normally what we do, why the most of the projects are using list? Because the data is stored at the database. We are just fetching that data in a collection and we are iterating whatever we are doing the operations on that data. So list is a good data structure for these kinds of requirements. Next one, dictionary. So whenever you want to store, obviously dictionary provides you key value pair, fast lookup with the help of a key. Obviously you can go ahead with it. And when the keys are unique and the order of the atom is not important. Okay. So ordering is not important. You can fetch the data by means of a key. You have a key. Consider you have your mail ID and you don't know what exactly the profile is and what exactly the password is. Okay. So based on that mail ID, you can recover the pass. So that mail ID is kind of a key for you. Okay. So by that key, you can look up the particular values. Okay. So in that scenario, dictionary is very good data structure or a very good collection for you. Now, when to avoid? Obviously, if you want to insert something in a specific order, you need to preserve the insertion order, then obviously it's not available because everything is dealing with the key here. There is no issue of, there is no concept of ordering here. So you need a small memory footprint for a very large data set due to hash table having the memory and overhead. So again, dictionary, if your data is in a limited range, okay, and in this scenarios, okay, so you need a small memory footprint for the very large data set. So you want a kind of a very small manipulation data, okay, for which is referring to the large data. Then in that scenario, this key value is fine. So consider there is a one key employee list, okay, which is the value is list of the all the employee. Okay, so this is the key value pair. Okay, the key is the string employee list and the value is the whole employee list. And in that scenario, this particular thing for referring the huge amount of data in a small context. Now, hash set, when you need to store the unique elements, no duplicates allowed, faster lookup obviously available, order is not important, and ideal for the membership test. So, for uniqueness, you can use this particular hash set. Then it should not allocate or duplicates data, as well as there is a faster lookup. Okay, avoid when you need to maintain the order of elements and indexed access. Q, obviously, if you are promoting and if your product is supporting this first in, first out kind of ordering of your element. So when you're working the scenarios like task processing, where the first task is added and the first task should be completed, then in that scenario, you can go ahead with the queue. Avoid when you need a random access. What are the disadvantage of the unordered collections? Obviously, these are the advantages of these things. So you need a random access. Then in that scenario, queue is little bit not useful. You need to iterate over the collection without modifying it. Next, stack. When you need a last in first out kind of a scenario, and when you are implementing the scenarios like functions calls and undo operations and depth first kind of algorithm, then you can go ahead with the stack. When to avoid, you need to iterate through the elements in a particular order based on indexing. Now linked list and sorted list. Now both are kind of a link based data structure, linked list kind of a data structure. So insertion and removal will be little fast, middle, start, and wherever. And when you need a collection where insertion and deletion is faster, cheaper, you want it in a faster way, then you can go ahead with the linked list. When to avoid? Access, obviously, it takes time because it search each and every element, it compares the values, and then it will get fetched. So if you want the faster fetching, index-based fetching, so this is not a best collection for you. You are primarily reading the collection would be more efficient way. Okay, so you are normally using the collection for the reading purpose, not for editing and insertion deletion purpose. Then obviously don't use the linked list. You can go ahead with the list. Now sorted list. Obviously, when you want the value in a sorted way, and when you need a key value pair in a sorted based on a key and value, and when you need the faster lookup, which is based on a ordered collections. And avoid, obviously, if you don't want the sorting, then don't use it. No, why you should allocate these kinds of a collections. Sorted dictionary and observable collection. Obviously, sorted dictionary is a dictionary which is based sorted on the basis of a key. So if you want that kind of a requirement, you can go ahead with the sorted dictionary. Avoid, you don't need sorting, and performance is a critical. So now you don't want the sorting, only the fetching the data, and that performance is useful for you, then don't do the sorting and kind of a thing. Observable collections, when you need to notify other parts of your code whenever the collection is modified. So ideal, this is useful for the UI based scenarios where the changes to the collection should trigger the updates to the UI. So something get updated in your backend and it should directly reflectable to your UI, then use this observable collection. This is the primarily thing we normally do in our UI, right? So whatever the data is available, we refresh the page and that updated data will get reflected in our UI. So you, instead of that basic data type, you can go ahead with the observable correction. So whenever it get changed, you can go ahead with this. It's continuously observing the thing, whether it changed, whether it changed. As soon as it get changed, it gets changed, updated. avoid when you don't need kind of a requirement. Okay, when you don't need to observe the changes. Okay, it's not reflecting there. Okay, and it's not required in your scenario. Don't do it, because obviously it will take time and your performance will get degraded. Now, concurrent dictionary, thread safety, avoid if your application is single threaded. Blocking collection. Now, when you need a producer and a consumer pattern, okay, where one thread adds the atom and another thread consumes it. So when you need a blocking and bounding capabilities, then at that time you can go ahead with this blocking collection. That is the limit of the number elements in the collection and block when it is full. So based on some blocking requirement, if you want to perform the operations, then you can go ahead with the blocking collection. Okay, this scenarios happens, this scenarios meet, fine, block the editing, block the adding and removal. Avoid, you don't need the multi-threaded and blocking operations. Immutable list, name and value collection. So immutable list, obviously, if your list is continuously updating and changing, don't use it. And when you need that, this is the permanent list. It will not get changed further. Okay. So then you can go ahead with the immutable list. Name and value collection. If you have a key value pair, both the strings, then in that case, you can go ahead with it. Avoid, you need stronger type safety and performance, which is the critical scenarios for you, then don't go ahead with the name and value collection. So these are the chart and the collections, okay, where the collections mentioned and their scenarios are mentioned. So choosing the right collection depends on the factors, what you want in your product, whether it's so choosing the right collections depends on the factors, right? Just a minute. Huh? Okay. Hmm. Hmm. So choosing the right collections depends on the factors like performances, their requirements, and trade safety is required, immutability required. And then what will be the ordering, how frequently you are doing modifications in your collections or a kind of a data structures, and what kind of a features you are using. Okay, uh, which operations you are continuously performing on your huge data. Okay, if you are frequently selecting the data, fetching the data, filtering the data, manipulating the data, then which kind of a collection should be used? If your data is responsible or collection is responsible for modifying the backend data, it's continuously happening insertion and deletion in your data, it's mutable or multi-threading or multi-thread are accessing your data. So these are the required different scenarios where you can use these different data structures and collections. So here we complete our whole section about data structure basics. So in this section, we understood what are the different data structures are available, and what are the different flow charts, and what are the different sorry, not flow charts, what are the different ways to um, start with the algorithm, what they are, why they are important, how we start the product development, what kind of data structures we have to use, and what are the different implementations of those data structures available in ASP.NET, and what are the do's and don'ts of every data structures or every collections in a collection framework. So something is missed, let me know. And here we complete our first section. Thank you so much. Take care. And see you in the next video. Bye-bye.